So many ships, never enough passes it seems to board them all. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. Today we'll be taking a look through comic book history at the couples who have yet to be, who have been, and who are almost there but not quite, who we just love to see together and hope to see more of as we count down the top 10 superhero couples we want together. Give them to us. Now I know there are a few villain couples that I also ship intensely, but if you don't see them here, just keep in mind that this list is heroes only. But hey, if you want us to talk about supervillain couples we are most hopeful for, let us know in the comments below, because that's totally a list that I want to do. Alright, now let's get counting. Number 10. Kitty Pryde and MAGIK. No one? Just me? I have always loved the relationship between Kitty Pryde and Illyana and have always felt like there was more to their close connection. I know some might think this is a weird ship considering the fact that Kate almost tied the knot with Magik's brother, Colossus, but during her relationship with Piotr, Kate has always been close to MAGIK. Lately in the comics in issue 12 of Marauders, we got a hint that Kate might be bisexual or bi-curious when she kissed a woman at a tattoo parlor. And can we just acknowledge who this mystery woman was similar in appearance to? This also happened after MAGIK escorted Kitty out of her own welcome back party following her death and resurrection. MAGIK was the friend to know when Kate needed to leave and was overwhelmed, implying that she's one of the people who is closest to Kitty. Number 9. Spider-Man and Captain Marvel. As awkward as these two are together, there are a lot of people who are still waiting for this to happen as more than just a one-off date. Captain Marvel and Spider-Man are both strong and charming. Carol Danvers has a bit of a more no-nonsense attitude, whereas Peter Parker is all jokes, which usually means they make a fun little couple. Both heroes, however, are pretty down-to-earth when it comes to their personality, which also gives them an easy point of connection and makes them fun to read together. I like their date, but I'm not sure what a more established relationship would be like between them, but I know lots of people are interested to find out. And friends, before we move on to our number 8 spot, just a quick reminder to give this video a thumbs up if you are enjoying it and you want more lists like it. Number 8. Luke Cage and She-Hulk. Another pair that only ever went on one date, really, but people love the cheekiness of them together. These two are obviously shipped because they are both powerhouses, and like I said, there was that one date that was the result of a bet. Personally, it's harder for me to imagine Luke Cage with anyone else other than Jessica Jones, but I do think She-Hulk would be a good runner-up when it comes to superpowered heroes for him to end up with. These two wouldn't have to worry about being delicate with one another, which would likely be a plus for them both, considering just how tough, strong, and powerful they both are in general. Number 7. Nightwing and Huntress. Here we are talking about Earth 2's Huntress, Helena Wayne, the daughter of Batman and Catwoman. Of course, even though these two are cross-dimensional siblings in a way, which is kinda weird, there is something so perfect about both of Batman's proteges getting together. Although when they are from the same Earth, it's pretty creepy, in my opinion. Having the distance of different Earths somehow makes it just a lot less weird. No comments from Dick Grayson about, remembering changing Helena at least, so that's a plus. Although we could also equally ship Nightwing and Helena Bertinelli Huntress as well, who have also been in a romantic relationship before in the comics, and I also really like their dynamic besides. Basically, Nightwing and Huntress, while not one of the main ships for Dick Grayson, is still an equally valid one, no matter which version of Huntress we're talking about. Number 6. John Stewart and HAWKGIRL. These two are a ship that comes to us from the DCAU, DC's animated universe. HAWKGIRL and John Stewart were both colleagues in the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited animated series, and their relationship evolved from there with them becoming close friends and then ending up in a relationship together. However, the relationship ended after HAWKGIRL's people came and attacked Earth, and John ended up with fellow hero Vixen afterwards. Eventually, the two would make their way back to one another, but HAWKGIRL and John Stewart, aka Green Lantern, are a couple that many hope to see appear additionally in the main continuity of the comics. Their relationship did also make its way into digital comics set in the same universe of the show, and we know that there is a future where they had a son together, and that it's believed to actually be the true future due to the appearance of Terry McGinnis there as well. But we don't really know if that future is possible in the main continuity of comics, or at least not yet. However, I like to think it could be. Number 5. Batman and Catwoman. Batman and Catwoman are always a couple we are going to want together no matter what, and while we can always feel reassured that they will end up together eventually, it won't always be enough for us. Why is that? because we have been teased before that the two would get their happily ever after only to witness them be robbed of it. Especially in Batman's case, who has been almost married a few times in the main continuity, we've seen the happiness and I suppose the tragedy that can come about when these two end up together on Earth too. And I guess we are also ready for people to move on in terms of their lives. It's nice to see hardworking people like Batman and Catwoman finally get to relax and just revel in their happiness. Plus, even if they don't settle down as much after pairing up, it would then in that case mean more glorious team-ups together, which I think we're all cool with. Number 4. Wonder Woman and Superman. This is a huge fanship. I have never personally been on board as much with this one, but I get why people love these two together. Wonder Woman and Superman both have similar ideals and are a couple of the most powerful heroes in the DC universe. They are both friends and colleagues who work well together on the Justice League. So yeah, I get why people love to see these two together. Like Luke Cage and She-Hulk, they are both powerhouses who many believe belong together. Wonder Woman and New 52 Superman were an item until that version of Superman died, and the one surviving from before the New 52, who was married to Lois and had a son with her, John, took over. Some are still hoping we get to see some version of Wonder Woman and Superman end up together again in the future, though maybe not the one we have now, as that would be quite dramatic in terms of his family dynamic. Number 3. Batwoman and Maggie. These two never got a proper chance at declaring their love for one another. Batwoman and Maggie were engaged and were set to be married in the comics, but they ended up being denied their wedding due to a conflict between Batwoman's creative team and DC's editorial team at the time. This was around the time that DC also stood behind the excuse that no one was allowed to be happy as their reasoning for these two not ending up together. No heroes were allowed to get married, which then made people question what had been going on with Mera and Aquaman this whole time, who then DC confirmed were not actually married, just apparently co-rulers. Oh. Okay. Following the end of her relationship with Maggie, Kate Kane had a weird romance with Nocturna, and there are still those out there who hope we get to see the Caped Crusader end up with Captain Maggie Sawyer once more. Number 2. Shatterstar and Rictor. These two had a powerful connection and romance that just seemed to have been dropped since it was first hinted at and then later fully established in the comics. Initially, these two started out as close friends, but later on, writer Peter David would finally confirm what had been long hinted at, that their close friendship was something more, and they were actually lovers. Fans had been pining for this reveal for a while, so it made huge news when the two finally shared a kiss together on panel. There was some pushback from Shatterstar's creator, Rob Liefeld, but it would take more than that to break the pair up. They would manage to stay together despite Shatterstar's flirtatious nature, and despite Wolfsbane claiming Rictor was the father of her child to try and break the couple up. However, the relationship seems to have faded into the background somewhat since overcoming these struggles. Many of us are still waiting for the couple to claim their position back in the spotlight. Number 1. Storm and Black Panther. Of course, I can't do a list like this without acknowledging I think everyone's biggest hopes and wishes that Storm and Black Panther come back together. When Black Panther and Storm finally tied the knot, it made Aurora the queen of Wakanda. However, she and T'Challa would later end up splitting up after Storm chose to stand with mutants as opposed to Wakanda. King T'Challa saw this as a betrayal, but for Storm, mutants have always been her family first. Storm's decision to stand by mutants even after Namor, a mutant himself, had attacked Wakanda, drove the two to separation and then later divorce. Since then, we have seen the two become friends again and even acknowledge their undying love for one another, but they still seem to be miles apart when it comes to them being in a relationship or being married again. What are some of your favorite superhero couples? Who do you hope ends up together in due time? Are there any lost relationships that you'd love to see revitalized either from films, the comics, or either animated series or animated films? Let us know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it's time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos, Top 10 Scary Characters from the Dark Multiverse. Water Logo comments, "The Dark Multiverse is rad AF. You are not wrong, my friend, and I am so sad that we won't necessarily get any more tales from the Dark Multiverse. Bums me out." Broken Bridge ponders, "The Batman who laughs is such a terrifying villain that he would make regular heroes cower in fear. You would have to be crazy to face him, or have no choice." Yeah, that sounds about right. Batman Who Laughs is a pretty crazy villain. G shares Tales from the Dark Multiverse are one of the best comics DC have made in a while. Also, Gaia was my favorite character from the Dark Multiverse. I'm with you on that, Gaia. I miss Gaia. I hope she returns, and I hope the Dark Multiverse returns at some point. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your thoughts and feels shouted out in a future list. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you to stay nerdy, YouTube.